The development of modern agricultural, manufacturing, and transportation techniques while raising our standard of living has contributed to the ever-increasing consumption of natural resources. Accelerated industrialization, rapid urbanization, and the high rate of technological changes have compromised the natural environment's self-cleansing capabilities, progressing the deterioration of the biosphere and creating a climate crisis that presents a serious threat to human survival. This threat to the human environment is a global issue. In its continuing efforts to find solutions to problems we face in our cities, the Secretariat of the Urban Environmental Accords presents the Humanitarian Talk Concert on Climate and Environment. Speaking with mayors at home and abroad, the UEA discusses common challenges to discover and share specialized knowledge, methodologies, and best practices with its 156 UEA member cities. I'm Tommy Williams with the UEA Secretariat here in Gwangju, South Korea, the International Climate and Environment Center. For today's talk, I have the honor of welcoming Mayor Fongu Cletus from BamendaⅢ Council, Cameroon, Northwest Africa. Unfortunately, due to the current COVID-19 health crisis, we are not able to meet in person, but the mayor is joining us online. Welcome to the talk, Mayor Fongu.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Tammy. We equally want to thank you all, thanking the UEA Secretariat for this initiative that have been taken to put member cities connected and share best practices and equally devise ways and means to face the global challenge, which is climate change.
Sir. Yes, sir. Now, Bamenda is blessed with a naturally beautiful landscape. You have these high plateaus and with rolling plains, deep valleys, rivers, waterfalls, and crater lakes. And it's all surrounded by this beautiful mountain range. But I understand that you have some difficulties and challenges as well. Mayor, can you tell us about your city?
Yeah, the BamendaⅢ, this is a brief presentation of BamendaⅢ city. The BamendaⅢ city has a total surface area of 22.9 square kilometers, hectares, and its estimated population stands at over 200,000 people from recent statistics. The BamendaⅢ Council area shows great ecological variations and consequently climate variations. This greatly influenced settlement patterns and agricultural activities. The type of climate found here is the Guinea savanna climate, situated in a Sudan savanna zone. The area is endowed with different types of vegetation. The climate is marked by two distinct seasons, the dry season and the rainy season. The rainy season usually begins around March to mid-October. The rainfall ranges between 2,000 to 3,000 millimeters per annum. The dry season is usually from October to February. The nights are very cold while the days are very hot. The annual average temperature hardly exceeds 19 degrees. Strong winds and heavy clouds covers characterize the area. Heavy clouds usually descend from the hills, and during such occurrences, visibility is very poor.
Thank you for introducing us to Bamenda, sir. Can you please tell us what is your biggest challenge so far?
Yeah, to present some of the major challenges that our city is facing as of now, the most peculiar one is the garbage disposal. Is garbage disposal. Some of the key environmental challenges faced within BamendaⅢ include waste disposals, waste disposal have a major challenge to the municipality, exposing the population to cholera outbreak traces in the other municipality. This is because we still does not have the possibility of recycling waste. The method we are using now is that we have waste disposal cans and so on, that we collect waste at those cans, but often there is this messing manner from the population, because the population, when the cans are full, the population, they dump the waste on the ground and so on. And this is because we have few vehicles that are to collect the waste to dispose it at the dump site. So those challenges, we're still facing them, and we have been struggling to see how we can deal with them and make sure that our streets are void of garbage.
Yes, waste disposal is a major challenge. This has actually been a key issue in several of our previous talk concerts in the series. We were actually introduced to some innovative ways of dealing with this common problem, such as converting methane gas, which is produced in landfills, into LNG, liquid natural gas, which can be used for cooking and heating, as well as an alternative source for transportation fuel. Can you tell us, sir, what are some of the other challenges for Bamenda?
Okay, the other challenge that we're facing, which has led to a landslide endangering close to many of the residents in one of our neighborhood called Sisia within the municipality. The slums developed as a result of poor urban planning that results from maybe about 20 years ago, because the area was poorly planned, and then people constructed haphazardly and constructed in unsafe areas and hilly areas and marshy areas and so on. So that finally caused a slum. And we have been trying at our level to deal with the slums because we partner with the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, and also UN Habitat, to find solutions on how to upgrade the area to make it livable. So far, we have signed some convention with the Ministry of Urban Development and the UN Habitat to see how we could do some slum upgrading program within the area. And we are thinking that in the future, we'll be able to provide potable water, good roads for the areas, and then good habitat for those areas. Because actually what we have done now is that we have got a resettlement area where we think that we can get the inhabitants of this area and resettle them there, while in the course of that now we can now develop the slum area and make it livable so that other people can come to settle there. Then the city of BamendaⅢ, despite its involvement, accurate water supply, still face a great challenge in providing adequate water to all indigents within the municipality. Here, the BamendaⅢ municipality, we have a good water supply that actually is sustaining a good section of our population, but we have not been able to meet up to extend the water to all the other areas because of some major challenges, because we need to improve on our storage capacity, and we need to acquire some accessories in order to carry out the extension. It's true that the population is also very collaborative with us in terms of community participation when we have to do expansion to other areas. Then the state of road infrastructure in our city is also a great concern. This is because we have close to 70% of the roads within our city that are still earth roads. We've been struggling to maintain them, and you know, earth roads come with so many challenges. We have muddy roads during the rainy season and dusty road during the dry season. And when the roads are dusty, it gives room for the transmission of various diseases, airborne diseases, and so on as a result of dust and so on. But we have been trying with the government to put in place measures to see that maybe after 2-3 years, maybe 2 years, we get about 5 or 10 kilometers of paved roads. We are trying to put up a policy like that in collaboration with the central government. So in the domain of health, I think our city have equally suffered from the coronavirus pandemic. This is because when the outbreak started, we tried to put in place local barrier measures in collaboration with the government, following up the measures that the government have put in place and World Health Organization. We have been trying to implement all those measures at the local level here, which include social distances and constant wearing of masks from the population. But I think the population of Bamenda, you know, we have a section of the population that are very poor and vulnerable, and at times, even just to afford for a mask or hand sanitizer or some of those things is a challenge to some families. It's true that the council we have been doing a lot to see how we could assist them with some basic materials to combat the disease, but it has hardly been enough for everybody. But that notwithstanding, I think the COVID-19 virus in our municipality, as of now, the situation is good. The number of cases remain now constant. No more new cases are recorded for the past month or two. So I think we just pray that it continues in that way, and with that our city will be safe. Schools have not been effective schools within our city. Maybe from 2016, schools have not been very, very effective. As you must have known, our region is having a crisis. We have a conflict which is affecting our region, and for the past, since 2016, schools have not been effective. And we think we have been doing our best to let the schools resume back, but as of now, we just have about 50% of kids that have actually gone back to school and they are learning, and there's an armed conflict going on in our region and our city between separatist fighters because the Anglophone region, Cameroon is made up of two regions. We have the Anglophone regions, and then we have the Francophone regions. And there are some people within our region, the Northwest and Southwest region, which constitutes the Anglophone regions, that believe that these two regions should separate from the other part of Cameroon. And so these people that have these separatist tendencies have picked up arms against the government. And so that is the reason why our region is facing the conflict since 2016, and it has really affected schools. It has greatly affected income, and we have a number of internally displaced people that are harbored in our municipality, because the other part of the regions, people have fled from there to the center, because the center is much more better. The conflict is very strong at the outskirts of the region. So most people have migrated into our city, and some people have even moved to other neighboring countries and so on. So we are facing this big challenge, and I think we have been doing our best to make sure that things come back to normal, and that the conflicts should come to an end, and then there should be a meaningful dialogue to bring things to order. So if I took some time to talk about this, is just to maybe make you have a brief understanding on what our city and our region is facing. In fact, we have handicapped people who have sustained injuries as a result of gunshots, arms cut, and so on and so forth. We have most of them, they're hospitalized in the various hospitals across the cities, and we have been trying to see how socially we could assist them with basic material, basic medicines for them to recover from the shocks and so on. And so we will continue to fight in that way. So in fact, this is a brief presentation that I prepared for us, and I think we should go in that. Is there? So I think that is a brief presentation of what Bamenda is as of now. But I will in the days ahead prepare a city presentation and a city report, and send to the UEA Secretariat, maybe for the appraisals or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You do have your hands full. It is worth noting here that these are not isolated issues. They are common to many places in the world, and it emphasizes the need for a global response. Certainly, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that the solutions are complicated and that they require continued effort and attention from the international community. Now, the G20 summit was held earlier this week, and we were again reminded that nationally determined contributions, NDCs, are at the heart of the Paris Agreement. It calls for each country to make efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to the impacts of the climate change. Mayor, what are your future plans in response to the climate crisis?
Okay. Now, thank you so much. The climate change is a global issue, and all cities in the world, they have to engage in the fight against global change and climate change. Because if City A is engaged in the fight of climate change and City B is not engaged, the other city can contaminate the other.
Yes.
So the first thing we are doing at this level is that since the last UEA meeting that was held in September, when I came back, we had a meeting with other sister cities around our region, and we tried to disseminate the information we got from the summit, and for cities to be engaged in the climate change and best practices that can encourage climate change. Apart from that, our city of Bamenda, we have launched a program which is Operation BamendaⅢ Green City. That's Green City, Livable City. So this operation is going to run for 3 years, and we do hope to plant trees on all the major streets of our municipalities. We do hope to engage a company that will plant the trees, maintain them for the 3 years until they are at a good level. Before now, the city can take over the maintenance. With that, we think that we are going to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide and other poisonous gases in the atmosphere. We equally engage in, we equally think that even at a small scale, we could engage in separation of waste. Separation of waste, that's the organic waste and the plastic, the bottles, and so on. We have possibility of sending the other waste to other cities like Douala and Yaoundé that have the possibility of recycling the waste. So we want to also launch that program so that we should discourage the citizens as much as possible from throwing waste in any haphazard manner, as you have seen in that picture. So we want to begin from the households to do the separation from the waste from all the households. And by the time the waste is coming to the city center, it's already separated, and the other ones can be transported to other cities for recycling. I think these are the measures that we have so far put in place to combat climate change. For greenhouse gas emission, we have done very little to that domain. But now, in some of our households now, we are able to generate cooking gas from waste and so on. So we keep on educating the public and doing our best and try to implement the best practices that we have learned from member cities of the UEA and other organizations, the practices that can be within our context. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, I thank you for that, sir. Now, you mentioned community participation. And, it's worth noting here that throughout the talk concert series, mayors have been reiterating this concept of involving and including the citizens. And I think this is key to the success of any program, is to get the community involved, to get the citizens involved. Yes. I'm glad you're doing that as well. Now, you mentioned earlier that international cooperation is essential in responding to these global issues. Yes. The UEA, in collaboration with the International Climate and Environment Center, has developed the Urban Assessment Model System, UAMS, which you may be familiar with, which detects fine dust particles and extreme heat conditions in a specified area within a 48-hour window. As well as an early warning system for water management in flood and or drought conditions. And of course, you've been experiencing these drought conditions there. Perhaps this and other technologies that are currently being developed could aid in Bamenda's future urban planning and design. And you seem to be taking a proactive stand in dealing with the water shortages in your city as well. And we thank you for that.
Yeah.
You also mentioned creating urban forests, and we talked about this earlier. Creating urban forests, promoting ecological restoration, and raising climate environment awareness through education and community involvement are crucial in protecting our environment. Now, Bamenda has been a member of the UEA since its inception, when mayors of 50 cities signed the Urban Environmental Accords in San Francisco at the on World Environment Day in 2005.
Yeah.
And now last year in November, just a year ago, Bamenda also became an executive committee member.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Now, the 2021 UEA Summit and Executive Committee meeting will be held here in South Korea, right, next year. So I'm hoping that we'll see a safe resolution to the COVID-19 crisis soon so that we can meet in person. I hope to see you there.
Yes, I also hope to see you as well. Yeah.
Mayor, do you have any final thoughts or a message for our member cities that you want to share?
Yes, if I have any thoughts, my thoughts are just to get our member cities share their best practices with us, so that we can be able to copy what is applicable to our area and so on and so forth. And with that sharing and share of ideas and opinion and so on, and even material, whatever we can share, I think that will also go a long way to help our city combat the challenges ahead of us.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, we have to do this together. Yes. Okay. And in closing, Mayor, thank you so much for your time. I know you have a really busy schedule, so we'll try to wrap this up as quickly as possible. We do appreciate you spending some time with us here today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the interest you have for our city. And we're looking forward to see this beautiful face, hopefully next year. Yes, I think the only challenge ahead of us is the fight against COVID-19, which I read the statistics from your city, and I see that you have been doing a great job to combat the pandemic. I've been following up statistics from Guangzhou City as far as the number of cases and concern and recoveries and so on. I've followed up all those things very keenly, and I've seen that the response is good.
Thank you. Yes, we are doing our very, very best, and we wish the best for you as well. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.